Okay.
Alrighty, folks. Tits, ass, cock, and pussy. These are my favorite things. And tonight's video is 10 JRPGs that you didn't know were censored. Hello. Okay, but yeah, it's usually fan service stuff, but sometimes it's offensive political crap. Like there was like one Persona game where Hitler was in the damn game, and they totally censored the crap out of him, sorta.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Uh, Anyways, Madam Tilly here is back with good old Willow and the little baby
Howdy.
slugs. All right, but yeah, 10 JRPGs we didn't know was censored. The maker of the video is called Eric Landon RPG. Okay, Eric.
Has been within the JRPG history pages since
Oh,
the
she
very
fine.
beginning. 9 out of 10 JRPGs have been
Breath of Fire?
censored or altered somehow since the 80s. So today, we're gonna take a look at the censorship
Skies
in
of
some
Arcadia?
of them, but I'll be focusing on the ones most
Sega
of you
Dreamcast?
probably didn't know about. So let's begin.
All right, test my knowledge.
Number 10, Skies of Arcadia.
Yay! Ah, you're playing the GameCube. Originally came out
I've
of
made a
Sega
bunch of
Dreamcast.
videos on censored JRPGs before. I won't be covering any
That's
of
up on
the
your
ones
forehead.
in those, but I'll leave them at the end. Earlier this year I made a review of Skies of Arcadia and I didn't mention any of its censorship because I didn't know it had any. To my shocking surprise, it does, and it's a lot. Sega of America did some really stupid changes to both versions. All smoking and cigarettes were removed. Several references
Okay.
to alcohol were also removed,
Ah.
such as altering dialogue of NPCs that are literally drunk in the Japanese versions, or changing the name of
Games
the
for
rum
kids.
to Lokua, whatever the hell that means. Why would they change this if both versions got a teen rating? Do teens don't know what smoking and drinking means? Sega also altered a
How were you when you smoked and drank?
Never. I mean, I only have actually drank alcohol within like the past few years. It just I never really had much of a draw to it, and I never smoked a cigarette. I've only inhaled secondary, like secondhand
Yeah.
smoke.
Oh, so you ended up you bought them drugs, huh?
No, I've been kind of a sheltered little goody two shoes.
Yeah.
I've never actually done any illicit substances.
That's one thing I'm kind of happy about this generation, though, is that we're kind of like not all about the drug life, or more straight edge folks. Like I know with me, it's actually just for just broke girl energy. Because for the main reason it's like
Yeah, that plays a part in it too. I
Yeah.
never go outside, so I don't have any place to find the drugs to begin with, and I don't have money to buy drugs. So
Yeah.
that's kind of a big reason.
aside from I guess food because you have to. I hate spending money on consumables. Like oh, all right, got this nice ass bottle of
Yeah.
whiskey. It's gonna be gone tomorrow, and that was $30.
Yeah.
Like I could buy a video game. It's gonna be there to be played for the next decade. So yeah.
Yeah.
Consumables. I just don't like waste my money on them. Otherwise, because I'm Irish, I can drink, but I usually drink on someone else's dime. So, uh, I had asthma as a kid, so I always figured smoking was it's not an option. Which probably was
Yeah. I
definitely
mean,
a big benefit.
I remember back in the day, Cartoon Network used to have like old like Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry cartoons, and they drank alcohol or smoked cigars or whatever, and like yeah, I was fine just watching it. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that's a thing that exists. I'm okay seeing that thing exists. I'm not being influenced.
Oh yeah, and
Censorship is just way too rampant that nowadays.
wait, anyone in the comments, have you ever like drank or smoked just because you saw a character do it? From like a cartoon or a video game or something. Like oh, he smokes cigars, so I smoke cigars. So it's like sort of saying. I nothing too wrong, but I was curious. Has anyone actually got influenced by something made for children? Yeah, I imagine there's maybe like 2 examples. Out of like a billion. But alrighty.
few lines for no justifiable reason. In one scene,
Also, they're
Aika
pirates!
says that she hates
Yeah.
dirty old men,
Yeah,
but
right?
that was changed to she hating on cockroaches and ghosts. Why? Were dirty old men going to be offended if they left that? Belena's and Vigoro's outfits were also made a bit more modest, especially Belena since her original dancer clothes were more transparent. I could go on, but you get the idea. I didn't know there
Started
was a lot of
practically
stuff
naked.
censored with this game, and I'm
Boomerangs! I
sure
love
neither
boomerangs.
did most of you.
Such an unconventional weapon.
Number 9, Baten Kaitos, all versions.
Oh, this game.
The original Baten Kaitos apparently had no censorship, or I
It
couldn't
had no
find
good
any
voice
out
acting
there.
either.
The remaster on Switch did, but it's nothing compared to the one
I said, like, look up the original Bait and Kato's on GameCube, and just all the voice acting sounds like it was recorded inside a fishbowl.
Yeah, I know.
in its sequel. The first Baten Kaitos remaster, though, had several lines changed, which was the real reason why it didn't include its original crappy English dub. However, Origins is the one that got the most censorship, even since the original GameCube release. The real name of the game is Baten Kaitos 2, Wings of the Beginning and the Heir of the Gods.
That's a mouthful.
As you may already know, video games in the West have a long history of censoring religious themes, references, and imagery. A few character names were also altered without an explanation. In the Japanese version, you could select your spirit's gender between male or female. For some bizarre reason, the North American release skips straight to the naming screen and the story treats you like male the rest of the game. Of course,
I'm about to say everyone's non-binary, but
as you may have imagined. Late in the game, without spoiling anything story-wise, the protagonist Sagi ends up tied in a cross, as in Crucified. Well, that was replaced with him being tied in a block. The song Chaotic Dance 2, which is Giacomo's battle theme, had its lyrics altered. Original says, "Praise the Lord," but that was changed to some unintelligible lyrics for the Western release.
It's being made up lore.
The Switch remaster, of course, did not fix any of the censorship I just mentioned. Sad.
Okay, so people are religiously sensitive. I get that.
Fairy Tail.
This is gonna be interesting.
This is an RPG based on the legendary anime and manga released on PS4, Switch, and Steam. When it came out, absolutely zero censorship existed. Koei Tecmo, the publisher, even promised that no version will have any censorship worldwide. But soon after that, after the game was published, they decided to add a really strange patch to it, and it was done worldwide. There's been cases like this before and after, but considering the huge amount of fan service this game has, I'm extremely confused by the patch. What it did was add some shades or darkness below any female character if they're wearing a skirt.
Well, yeah, because you shouldn't be looking up them.
What's the point of this if the game already has these over-the-top designs, sexy outfits, and very busty proportions for the girls? And they even put this patch in all versions, including the Japanese ones. This is one of the most nonsensical censorship I've seen in a video game. Upskirts are offensive, but giant boobs, cleavage, and sexy bikinis are not. Okay, that's modern censorship video game logic for you.
You can't see the holes, okay? Meanwhile, I got porn on my other monitor going.
Number 7 at...
Okay, but yeah, like about Fairy Tail. What's funny is I think Fanservice might be part of the reason I actually stopped watching it. Because I absolutely love season 1, and season 1 barely had any fan service in my opinion. Like and seasons are like usually like 50 episodes when it comes to those big shonen animes.
Yeah.
So each season came out, it's like they just they kept doubling down. I think it's 'cause people just like, oh, give us more like moments of Urza lose her fucking mind, or make Lucy just like wear less clothes, more fart jokes and stuff. Like more ridiculous shit just kept happening. It kept doubling down every season, and it just got to a point where like I was just getting sick of it, you know. Like I said, it was like maybe like one bath scene in that first season, and now it's like they take any excuse to get the girls naked by season 3 or go like you know at one point it's like, Lucy, you should take off your clothes to distract those guards, and she's like, hey, that's a good idea. It's like oh man.
Number 7, Atelier Rorona.
I never figured out how to pronounce that.
Speaking about Koei Tecmo, they've owned the series for a while now, and they did the
nice
same
outfit
with Atelier Yumiya and others with recent remasters, as with Fairy Tail. But the original Atelier Rorona was published by Nice America. Sure, they're known for their bad translations, but back then they weren't known for this level of censorship.
Art style's awful.
Characters' ages were changed, increasing some for a few years. Why?
Probably for
Because
better.
allegedly they were too young for some of the scenes and dialogue and battle animations? Weird, considering none of this was done in the sequel Atelier Totori, also on the PS3 by the same publisher. Look at this. A few characters' personalities were slightly altered, like Tiffany being pervy towards Rorona. It was now toned down, and Esty, believe it or not, was fixated to date guys in the original script. All gone in the international release, and she now behaves the way you probably saw if you play the game. Lastly, and apparently, there was a bizarre love triangle between Rorona, Sturk, and Astrid in the original Japanese game. Completely removed or censored in the worldwide release. Every single version of this game that came afterwards has added even more censorship than that. And it isn't the only one censored on PS3. Meruru had similar issues, as well as Shelly, and Shelly was now published by Koei Tecmo, by the way. So yeah, the Atelier series ever since Rorona came out has suffered the wrath of censorship worldwide.
You know, I just really think Japan, or at least JRPGs, just don't know how age works, you know? Like one thing I go to is like Final Fantasy IX, there's the character of Echo. They say she's 6 years old, but she clearly talks like a 16-year-old, you know? Yeah, but then they also had the whole obsession of like, let's make the teenager the Gundam pilot. You know, like, you know, let's make a Sailor Moon, you know, 15, but she looks like she's 20. You know, so I just think this, like, the numbers don't match the characters, like the way they talk or look and stuff. Japan just doesn't get the concept of age. You know?
I mean, I can definitely understand why some of the really big, bug-eyed anime art styles would make someone look extra younger, because like that when you're learning art, you understand like, oh, a character's eyes being bigger, their head being bigger in proportion to their bodies kind of makes them look younger. But I wouldn't even begin to be able to dig into all the different reasons of like what the hell is like, oh, anime is weird with age. That's a conversation I would not know where to begin.
Yeah, like there's always the concept that like some people look younger or older than they actually are. Like recently I just met a 17-year-old girl who I swore was 37. You know, yeah, like oh damn, you got hit with a stick. But it's like you think like age really should just come with have a template. Like, okay, a 14-year-old would look like this, talk like this, and dress like this, all across the board. All 14-year-olds, you know, like this. Like you could probably add like tweaks to it, to a setting, like a whole original world. But yeah, it's like you know, it's like, you know, it's my world. I create the laws, so they could be as sexy as they want at that age. You know, it's like no. It's like all across the board. You know, they should act and dress and look in a certain way. I'm sorry. I don't care if it simplifies things, but you know, it's like most of these action RPGs. Everyone should just make them like minimum 17. You know, it's like we could all get behind a party of like, you know, mid-late teeners. You know, it's like. Did the volume go away or just me?
Numbers.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to say.
Loyal Tactics. I always see this game, especially in the PlayStation Store, but I keep passing up.
This game in Europe,
I like tactical
RPGs. A company
RPGs.
called Mastiff did the job in the US. However, it was Mastiff that got the short end of the stick with the censorship. Most religious imagery and references were entirely gone. All crosses were removed. Hell was renamed as the Dark World. Also, of course, smoking and alcohol references were
the
done.
Shadow Realm.
That was straight out
Curly
Tactics.
smokes and has cigarettes, but they were removed
Tactics.
here. His gun was also redesigned to look less threatening. Seriously? This?
That's okay.
First the smoking and drinking, and now making a gun look less, scary? Mamelon is renamed Papillon. This was done probably because Mamelon means something very funny in Spanish. But I can guarantee you, no one in the US would have noticed since they don't even know what it means. Another stupid change. Now, you'll be shocked to know that Miss America remastered the Ragnarok version of this game,
Whoa, boots.
originally released on the PSP only in Japan. And since that one had no censorship...
Okay, yeah, I might
because
pick
it
this
never
game
left
because
Japan,
it looks like it has a lot of
the
personality.
localization was based on that, and all of it was gone, surprisingly. So the Prini Collection Volume whatever on Switch is now the best version of this game to play in English, surprisingly.
Oh, I'll keep an eye out for it.
Number 5, Illusion of Gaia.
Play this. Free Nintendo poster.
First of all, I don't know why it was called Illusion of Gaia over here, while its original name is Illusion of Time. Why change the name of the game?
I mean, Gaia
The
sounds
censorship in
cool.
This game goes from a lame and nonsensical translation to, once again, religious stuff. The game starts you off in a school, remember? Well, in the original game, it's actually a church. As you can see here, even the teacher looks like a priest, but it makes no sense because the background is altered. The crucifix behind up there is gone. Some blood was also entirely removed from the game, by the way. And there's also an alteration with the final boss that I won't show here to avoid spoilers, but it was also changed for no apparent reason. Link in the description. Anyways, fortunately this didn't suffer any major changes, but still, it was interesting to see how even some obscure games got the censorship axe back in the day. There are retranslation mods out there for some of these games on the internet. Look them up, I'm sure you'll find them.
So how do we feel about religious censorship? Because they've been doing that since the original Zelda. Well, I mean, it's...
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely understand, like, for like Zelda as an example, I can maybe understand why they would want not to have like real world religion, like let this fantasy world be its own thing. But also, I don't know that they necessarily need to censor everything.
Yeah, I got...
Like, you can have a cross here or there.
Yeah, because I think some people just like say Christians get offended, but then nowadays it's like, oh, we just don't want Christians brainwashing our children. So I guess because religions can be divisive, so they just rather have like no debate than a bad debate or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, censorship is a whole big thing. There's I'm sure there's levels of nuance, but I could definitely understand the whole, we don't even want to touch on that. We don't want to get into that can of worms, so let's just not have any religious imagery.
Yeah, it's like, 'cause, personally, I don't care for Christianity, but I also saw my own personal religion just gets bastardized all the time in media. But it's still, though, it made it into the game in the first place, so, it's that kind of saying. It's like, well, it offends me, so it should be out of the game for everybody, sort of thing.
Yeah, and that's part of why there's like a conversation to be had about censorship, because like, are you going to show this game in its original form, or are you just going to let it be something different and just hide away that it ever had that stance to begin with?
Yeah, like, it's also up to the creators, and all it's not committing a crime? Or state secrets, I guess?
Number 4, Yggdra Union.
Oh, I heard this one.
Ever seen a case where the censorship of a
You're
JRPG is
adorable.
done in Japan, but not worldwide? Yup,
That's different.
It's backwards with this game. It's just one scene where the main lead, Yggdra, is taking a bath. In the original Game Boy Advance release, leaves and foliage cover almost her entire body. In the PSP version, she's wearing a towel and steam or some lights are covering the rest. The rest of the world got this scene uncensored. Yeah. Sadly, it's remastered on Switch and Steam worldwide is just as censored as the Japanese originals.
It's just one
This one
frame.
was silly, I know that, but it was worth including because it's so rare to see a Japanese game
That's
censored
fair.
in Japan, but uncensored anywhere else.
That's interesting gameplay.
Number 3, Fire Emblem 7.
But it's just Fire Emblem 1.
Obviously,
That's
all
the
of the
seventh
major and
one?
popular JRPG franchises have been censored.
That's one reason why I can never
Final
touch this
Fantasy,
series.
Dragon Quest, Tales of, Persona, Xeno, Pokemon,
I'm sure this
etc.
have never been
Fire
censored.
Emblem 2. You probably already know the Switch and 3DS titles went through a lot of localization shenanigans. But what about the older ones? Do you think they were safe? No! The very first Fire Emblem we ever got in North America, which is number 7, had a lot of dialogue completely altered or even censored. Starting off, Lynn is actually 15 years old, but because she's wearing a sexy outfit, they changed her age to 18 in North America. Huh.
That's fine.
Religious references were obviously also altered.
Better to age them up, right?
Devil's Island now being called Dread Isle. But whenever any character says damn, yes, that's right, merely damn, the entire line, not just that word, was changed. Also saying stuff like
shit.
what the hell seemed way too offensive apparently. Of course, you can expect a few lines being deemed sexist back then that were also altered for the US release. In the description of this video, you will find all of my sources, so you can see way more comparisons yourself. Especially for these games, since I couldn't find any comparative screenshots or footage, only the dialogue recaps in the links below. Number 2, Live Alive Remake. Modern remakes. For the past few years, a lot of them have censored, altered, or pretty much removed several stuff.
Including
the Live Alive
remake.
The original Super Famicom game never left Japan, but it's fan-translated. No censorship exists within it. It's the remake that got the axe. Yet another case where the dialogue was deemed too offensive for a Western release. Allegedly, a lot of lines were considered as sexist, so they were either toned down or